Well, hey, everyone. I got my virtual background up tonight. Was doing a little work in the honey house slash bee house, whatever you want, whatever you want to call it yesterday. So I've got the everything cleaned up, the extractor, the uncapper there, and cover on the uncapper that came with it. And everything kind of sort of, or well, semi-organized. It's not great, but got stuff ready, getting it ready to go. And so I felt like I would do a stream here tonight, see what everybody was doing, what they were getting done. Watched Tim and Hannah last night, went to the VA this morning. This was the first Friday of the week for me. So, blood pressure was a little bit high. They're going to adjust some medications and see what happens. So we're just playing that crash test dummy with my heart meds. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully all you are doing well. Yeah, virtual Bob tonight. Just the honey house there. Still got some more work to do, guys. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go and pick up another refrigerator to go out on the porch. So we'll see how that goes. And oh, look at this. Charles in charge right away.
Hey.
How you doing?
I thought you weren't doing no Mite Mondays.
No Mite Mondays? Yeah, I've been trying to cut back a little bit on the live streams, going on them.
It does get boring. It is winter.
Well, it's not. I can talk to you guys all the time, right? That's not like an issue. The only thing is that I think that too many, right? It's just too many, and sometimes I just don't feel like doing it, right? So it's one of those things to where it's nothing to do with actual like the doing it and all that, but I find that I watch a lot of streams and participate in a lot of streams, and there's really, I hate to say it this way, guys, but the hard facts of it is there's no benefit to me, really, because YouTube doesn't pay crap, right?
Exactly.
So it's not a matter of that. It's more about just hanging with you guys. And I can do that not doing that live, or I can do it doing it live. So it's like there's not much benefit to it, as far as putting into it. It's just hanging out. That's the biggest thing I can say. So if you can see by the picture that I've got behind me, Charlie, from yesterday, that I've started getting stuff organized here. I did have some wax moth issues in my building there. So that's not good. And if you notice that behind my extractor, there's a box, and that box is sitting on that uncapping tank with the other uncapper that was supposedly sold, but for some reason, they haven't come and gotten it and everything. So if that doesn't sell real soon, I'll probably just post a photo up on the Book of Faces and see if it goes there. So I mean, it's just money sitting there, and I'm housing it in hopes that someone told me they're coming to get it. They're going to come and get it, but it's been a few months now, not like weeks, not days, months now. So they got to contact me and let me know. So hopefully they want it, and it's still got the tape on it, the blue tape that comes on the stainless when you get it. I never took that off. I just left it on there, and got everything semi ready to go. But today it was in the 60s.
Yeah, so it was maybe in the 50s today. It's in the 30s right now.
Sell it in Kentucky. Have to drag it all the way to Kentucky, and then it'd be my luck it'd blow out of the back of the truck or something. But so I'm getting the refrigerator, Charlie. So I'm probably going to be converting the old refrigerator I have on the porch into my incubator / honey warmer, right? The
Right.
freezer part will be the incubator.
Is it an upright refrigerator?
Yeah, it's a smaller one, so the bottom will be my honey warmer box. The refrigerator part and the freezer part will probably be my queen cell incubator, right?
That's what I did.
And that way, just run 2 temperature controllers, 2 lights, and try to figure that out before season. But I'm getting it from the guy who had hurt his last year. He had knee surgery, so I helped him with his bees. This year he had back surgery, so I helped him with his bees. Then he fell out of a tree stand and broke his pelvis. So guess what? I'm going out tomorrow to help him with his bees and, feed his bees and put out some pollen sub and load up the refrigerator. So hopefully it's not like a 10-ton, like the old school 1970s 10. I haven't even seen it. He had it. He said $75. First person who comes and gets it. I said sold. On sight unseen. He says
he should just give it to you.
Well, yeah, and that's what we worked out, right? I'm gonna work his bees, and I'm gonna carry home a freezer or a refrigerator tomorrow.
You've already worked these bees 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, but every time I go out there, he does like give me gas money and give me like canned vegetables and stuff like that. So not worried about it. $75 or not. But yeah, he said he's going to work it out for me coming out there to work his bees for him tomorrow. So see how that ends up. And then I'll be getting the parts list for the, setting up the lights and all that stuff in there.
Yeah, just go to the hardware store like Home Depot, get yourself the fixture.
Bird thing that you're talking about and a light.
Yeah, it's like a chicken heater. You don't need the red light because they're actually more money than a white light. Heat lamp.
Right.
And I think the heat lamp itself is 100 watts, something of that nature. I can't remember now. The fixture was, rated for that or rated a little bit higher than that.
Right.
And then I got an Inkbird controller off of Amazon. I actually got, get 2 of them while you're at it. I got it. Information here someplace.
My wife decided. Hold on 1 second.
Yep. Hey, James. I agree with you there, DC.
Sorry, mom issues. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. Is a little bit warmer today, but the still fallish temperatures around here, and just getting stuff.
It says it's 41 degrees here, but I got in my car and it was like 37 or something like that on that temperature gauge. The Inkbird controller I've got is an ITC 308.
ITC 308. What do those things run?
Well, I think the last time I got mine was like $60. I mean, some people spend extra money for what do you call it? Wireless and all that. All I'm doing is plug it into the wall, plug in your electric input from your light, and then you set the course. It's English directions are a little bit off as far as translations go, and you set the temperature. Then you set the high end, like say 3 degrees above, 3 degrees below. And what else? There's some alarms on there.
Basically, it's a temperature controller, DC. So
Yeah.
when the temperature hits the temperature and it senses it, it just cuts the power to the light. And then when the temperature drops, it'll turn the power to the light back on.
And then it's got a probe, I fished that through the hinge side of the door, all those cords on the refrigerator, and kind of taped them in place. And then the probe, I left, we're usually there's a meat tray in there and a little shelf. I left that shelf in there, put the light on that, and then I drape the temperature probe over in midair. The only thing that I didn't do was put a fan in there to circulate the heat in the atmosphere. I would, if you're able to do that, would be good. I don't. It doesn't seem to hurt it too bad. So, anyway, that's what's happening.
Reading some of the comments there on the probiotics there. So we'll see. I might have those before long in the store. Let's see. And I've been working on a label for my hot honey. So we'll see how that goes. Kind of use inspiration from the chat on the name. So we'll see how it goes. What do you got, McDonald's tonight, Charlie?
Yeah, I came home this evening. My shoulders were achy and I was kind of cold. And I actually, as you said, took an old man's nap and laid down. And then I just got up and I was going to go to the gym for my hips and stuff, but I was just tired and
just didn't do it.
I just didn't do it.
I know that feeling. Well, there's Lee. Hey, Lee. I didn't even say hi to everybody. I apologize. I did say it in the chat when I first came on, but DC, Brian, Lee, I've seen it. Randy, Tar Heel Beekeeper, Sean, Russell, Michael. Let's see who else. There's Iowa Lands Beekeeping. Hey, Tracy. See if I'm missing somebody. Probably. I apologize. There's Mark Miller. Mark said he started taking, and James started taking deposits on his nukes. So, hey, Tim. And Hannah, I guess. Hopefully she's feeling better tonight. And Randy. Let's see. There's Jeff Thomas. Hey, Jeff. And I don't want to miss anybody, but hey, Larry. And Robert. And who else? That's it. I think I got everybody now. All right. Caught up for the moment. There's Brian from Castle Highs. I've got to bottle some more too. I've just been doing so much. I've got to bottle up some 1-pounders, I think. And I keep looking at those KitchenAid mixers, and then I keep looking at the $400, and I'm like, am I going to use it enough outside of just creamed honey? That would be the question. Or am I going to make enough creamed honey to be able to pay for that? I guess over time, as long as it lasts.
Well, I watched Brian's little short he put out about he was filtering. I forget what it was he had in there. Cocoa, or it wasn't cocoa. It was espresso or something like that.
Espresso beans.
And I find it a lot more involved than what I thought it was when it comes to putting in flavored honey. To me, I thought you just took the powder, you dumped it in the flavored honey, you spun it around, and you're done. Or actually, I thought it was you put it in the creamed honey, or do you actually put all that stuff in the liquid honey? before you cream it.
You know, I was at Target earlier today and I saw they had like 3 different models of that mixer. And then I saw the one that had the half speed on them. Only one of them had a half speed, and it was the most expensive one there.
How much was that?
$450 at Target. Let's see.
I don't know, $450. I think I'd rather just put that towards a licensed creamer.
Yeah, then you got to put another 1,600 with it or something.
I don't know. I know Brian wants you to talk about the
Cottage food laws.
yeah.
Here comes James. I don't know if he's going to put his video on or if he's just going to use his emoji. Well, I don't know. Hey, James.
Evening, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm just seeing your little Scottish bee there.
Yeah, that's all you got right now. I'm on my way down to Canadian Tire to go rescue my daughter's vehicle. It's got a battery that finally bit the big one. So I don't know what it is about kids and maintenance these days, but I guess they wait till it breaks down and call Dad.
Well, yeah, it's cheaper for him that way.
Yep. Like I say, I just figured I'd pop in here. I will come back and pop in as soon as I get this battery changed out, which shouldn't take, I don't know, half an hour or so. But
Right.
what's new? What's everybody doing? I've been kind of out of the loop here again for a bit.
Just cleaning and starting to get ready for the spring for me.
The only thing bee related I did was Sunday morning. It was around 43 to 45 degrees. And I went out and I vaporized all my hives with oxalic acid vapor. And you got that done. And that'll be my first mite treatment of OA for the season.
Well, that's not a bad thing. You only do that once a month, though, I think, right, Charlie?
I'm trying to do it every twice a month, depending on the weather conditions. Now, that was something that I'd learned. I always kept saying 48 degrees, and I found that at 45, the bees are pretty much not flying. They're still unclustered inside. And by the time I got down to the end of my row there, the temperature was approaching, let's say, 47. And then I could see the bees are starting to fly just a smidgen, a little bit more, a little more. I was doing all that work without a bee suit or anything because it was cold enough and there was, very little bees flying. And by the time I got at the end, they were starting to really fly a little bit more. I mean, there was a few of them that were kind of pester me, but so I find I'm going to go out there a little bit sooner and get the job done.
Yeah, so, well, that's what you want. I mean, you don't want them clustered. I think that's a mistake a lot of new beekeepers make. And I'm in no way saying that you're a new one, but new beekeepers don't realize everything that you just said in that sentence, which is they can't be clustered. If they're clustered, they're going to be too tight together. Your oxalic acid isn't going to do anything.
Right.
But at the same token, you don't want them all out and about either.
No.
So
well, it's it gets dark here too early in the afternoon in order to get anything done. So I got to do it on a weekend or somewhere I can have the middle of the day. And I opened up a nuke. I pulled the cover off, and I could look down into the inner cover hole, and they were, all in there. I was looking about how much of a good the application did throughout the hive, and you could see it kind of coming out, and you could also see the bees walking around inside. So I said, okay, I got a loose cluster, or bees are loose inside, but they're in there, but the dosage is getting in there too. So it
Perfect.
worked out well. So
Well, we've got. I was going to say we've been super busy up here. When I say we, I mean Alan and Sheldon were over. What did we do? We packaged 360 pounds of honey there, I do believe, on Saturday. Sunday, of course, was Remembrance Day up here, so I sure hope everybody took the time to remember those that have served, are serving, and will serve. I mean, it's what they've given that gives us our freedom. So hopefully everybody took time to remember that. So Saturday was pretty much set aside for the Remembrance Day, and then did a bit of work out in the bee barn, and placed the order today for, what do we got? 5, 6, about 12 different labels for the flavored honey that's going to be going to the Christmas market here, starting on the 24th, I think, 24th or 27th. So it's been busy.
Yeah. Now Saturday I took off from the mill. The itinerary on this bee meeting, it was a state bee meeting, wasn't all that great for me, but it was a day. It was a day to get away from the customer base, and so I got up early Saturday morning, went over here about an hour and a half away to the state meeting, and they had one gal from Texas A&M talking about queens and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know, about half fell asleep listening to her. And then some other gal from Florida, or no, actually from South Carolina, I think. She has a commercial bee business with a cowan. She said a 40-some frame cowan. I thought it was 60 and 120. 45 frame cowan. I've never heard of them that small.
Yeah, but, I think they have a 40. I think they have a 40 frame version.
That's what I think short. She's had. What she had.
She's in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Bewell or somebody maybe in the upstate?
Hey, I got a question for you guys. I mean, Bob already knows. I've been trying to work back and forth with an individual in Mississippi, trying to purchase myself an extraction line. So, is it common practice in the States to, for lack of better terms, try to get more money after kind of an agreement was made? Is that something common that happens down there?
No.
Not for me. I walk if something like that happens myself. But no, not typically. Once I've made a deal with somebody, that's usually it.
Yeah. Well, it may have cost him his line, because I was willing to make the drive, pick this line up, and head her back up here. But in him trying to, for lack of better terms, get a few more bucks out of me, I found one now in Ontario, which is it's a little bit more expensive, but by the time I take into account what it would have taken me to drive to Mississippi and back, and I think I figured that out, it was like 25 or 2,800 miles, one way. So, but now I'm waiting to get the information back on that one. So, it's just kind of took me a little bit different. And maybe it's just me. I'm pretty clear cut. I mean, I guess the way I usually do things is if you make a deal, that deal is as good as in ink. But anyways, I just kind of thought that struck me a little weird.
Yeah, that's unusual. I mean, granted, I haven't bought a lot of bee equipment there. online, you know, as far as like in marketplace. I just scour it a lot to see what's out there, you know.
Right. Well, and maybe it's just the way it is. I can't see any of the comments, so I don't know if there's any comments coming in there. But hey, I just
Brad
pulled up
said
here
it's only 18 hours.
Actually, that's exactly what it would be. It would be no, actually, I think we figured it was more than that. It was I think we figured it would be because of the border and the way you would have to go. I think we figured it was what 2.5 days down there full bore. So that would have been well 12, 24, 48. I think we figured it'll be like 56 hours or something like that driving time. So one way. So
Yeah, that's a long way. It'd be strap it on a truck and send it to me.
well, we looked at that, but believe it or not, the shipping on that was going to be almost $12,000.
$12,000 to ship it.
Yeah.
For $6,000, I'll go load it up and drive it to you.
I was just going to say for 12 grand, I can make a lot of kilometers, right?
Right.
So, but anyways, I'm going to run in and grab this battery. I'll get this changed out, and then I'll pop back in here.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you later.
See you guys.
Her name is Virginia Webb. Actually, she's going to be at Hive Life. Clarksville, is that in South Carolina?
No, Clarksville's in Tennessee. Matter of fact, Clarksville is on the Tennessee-Kentucky border. It's on the northern side of it.
I'm reading a thing about her, but
it was Larry, it was a 60 frame Cowan line that he was looking at. And I had the listing at one time, and I can't remember what the gentleman's name was that was selling it. Let's see. Probably can't find it now. It's been a while. So the let's see. Tell them you give them more, just bring it to the border, right? But yeah, you know, that equipment, I mean, that size, like I would think it would be kind of a limited audience for buying that, you know.
What's that?
But, line like that. Evidently the market is bigger than what I had envisioned on the big stuff like that. Let me see. They're talking about Virginia Webb. She was the grand champion. Let's see. Am I missing a bunch of stuff probably here?
It's mountainhoney.com. So let's see where she's at. It says Clarksville. Where? I don't know.
Tennessee.
Is it Tennessee?
It is. Clarksville's in Tennessee. Unless there might be another Clarksville out there somewhere, just not in South Carolina that I'm aware of.
Mountain Honey, such and such road, Clarksville, Georgia.
Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's a different one from what I know of.
Gasly Road, Clarksville, Georgia. Her website is mtnhoney.com.
Let's see. Trying to saw I'm talking about extractors on here. Now I'm looking to look at the extractors over here.
There's the Be Original Tennessee Tim. Good to see him out tonight.
And Mark Miller says he's in Clarksville, Arkansas right now.
Good night, Lee.
So looks like Keith is buying the 9-frame radial.
Keith who?
Half Tracks and Honeybees. Says looks like they might have a different price, but they got $9.39 on the website for it. Now, I'm going to be
for a 9-frame.
I'm going to be devil's advocate here. Why? And this is just me. I'm not talking bad about your decision. If that's what you want, get it. But for
Has
me,
he got it? Got it yet?
no. But
Good.
for me, I would buy the 18 frame
Absolutely.
for the $400 extra.
Yep. You're gonna be sorry. Be about like Brian Castle Hives. He said the same thing. I believe he got 12 frame or something like that. Wish he got 18. Go big.
They both have free shipping on them, so
Go
400.
big and grow. You'll grow into it, and it's faster and whatever else. That's what I have.
That's me. For $400, you're doubling your speed. But that's just me. I'm just saying. That's what I would do.
What's he looking at? Hilco or something?
Yep, the Hilco one.
DC's talking about 18 frame. You don't have to flip them. What do you mean? That's not radial on the 9-framer?
You don't have to flip on 9. I think it is. It's a radial, 9-frame radial. So you don't have to flip them, but you just get twice as many frames.
Tim wants to know what the sticker price is on the 18.
$13.89.
And how much is the 9-frame? $1,000?
$9.39. So it's really $450 difference. And you're getting twice the. It looks like about the same motor and controller, but it looks like you're just getting a little bit bigger extractor that does twice as many frames.
And then you could buy a 20-frame license for what?
I'll tell you in just half a minute.
$1,200.
Yeah, something. It was something like that, but the prices seem to change every time I go to look at things. So, let's see.
Tennessee Tim was wondering whether it does do deeps and mediums, and I'm all of those. When you get up to that size, they do all sizes.
So the 20-frame license like mine, I've got a 30, but it's right there behind my head, is $12.84. The difference is you're going to have to pay shipping on that. So it's going to be more than $100 shipping with my experience. But he lives closer. Yep, some people don't have the extra money, and I totally get it. Totally get that. The 20 frame license is $12.84. And the 30 frame is $19.75, like the one I got back there. So from Betrebi.
Actually, Brian, Maxant is coming to Nobby.
Really?
I seen it on the vendor list.
Maxant?
Yeah, I'll recheck it, but I'm almost sure.
But it's I mean, it's just preference, whatever you want to get. I mean, I just look at things a little bit different sometimes. And I've bought the smaller extractor, and then I ended up buying the bigger extractor. So somewhere in there's probably a happy space I should have been at, right? So it's just depends on what your goals are, and you know what you got in mind for your operation. But buy once, cry once. That's kind of been the motto, right?
Yeah, I mean, it like the one comment about the extra money. Well, in the long run, you're saving money. The way I look about it.
All right.
I don't know. How do you, where is the damn website at anyway? I got the Facebook page. I want to go to Nabi website, I guess is where I want to go to.
Let's see. North American Honeybee Expo.com. Nah, it's
I got it. Vendor. All right. We said is Max Antlers app of May. ABCD. Max and honey processing equipment. Yep, it's them. They are going to be there.
Well, that was quick.
Well, I just bought the battery, so now I got to go back home and change it out for her.
Oh, so the car's at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I
was going to say, because like here, if you drive up to an auto parts place and buy a battery, they'll usually drop it in for you.
Oh yeah, no such luck. Well, what do you think of battery, or how? Let me put it this way: I was gone for what, 5 minutes, maybe 10.
$200.
Oh, keep going. $319.
Well, that's Canadian, so $200 US.
It's like $45 US, but yeah. So, but
that's
batteries are super expensive even here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever. I don't know if I've ever, in my own personal vehicles, I don't know if I've ever changed a battery, to be honest with you. But I mean, I do look after them and I do maintain them, and I make sure that if I park the vehicle for any amount of time, there's a battery maintainer on it. But even my old Toyota Tundra truck, I don't think, at 1 million kilometers, I don't think I ever changed the battery. I think that was the original battery in that truck.
And that's the same battery that was in the truck when you bought it?
Correct. Yeah, I bought it in 2006. It was a 2007 Toyota Tundra. And I just actually, I put it up on Facebook Marketplace for sale at what? I think I hit post at like 620 or something like that. And by 7 o'clock, I think I had 185 inquiries, and it was gone like about 5 minutes after that.
That's pretty quick.
So,
but so how long a ride you got home?
Oh, according to the GPS and in this new 2024 Toyota Tundra, 6 minutes.
Oh, it's pretty close then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's what I've been working on up here. Jarring honey, getting stuff ready for Christmas markets. cleaning up the honey house, making plans for the 2024 season. So looking at, you guys were talking about extractors, buy once, cry once. So when I first decided a little over a year ago to get into the sideline business, is it a year or 2 years now? Might actually be 2 years now. But, a lot of the guys and, gave me the advice, spend it once, just buy it once and then you're done. In fact, some really well-known individuals told me you'll never lose money on an extraction line. And, they're right. The unfortunate part of that is I started the business with 10 grand and that's what I continually have invested. Now I have taken on, partnership. So they're going to do the same thing. They're going to invest the same amount. And we're going to grow this business from that. So when you got a budget and stuff like that, as much as you would like to spend the, $20,000-$30,000 on an extraction line, sometimes the funds just aren't there. And, you've got to use something smaller until you can get there. I mean,
right.
I extracted a little better than 15,000 pounds of honey with a 12 frame extractor. So it took me a while, but that's what I had.
Oh, absolutely.
It's also the last time I'll ever do that, just for the record.
There's Doug says, James, there's a 60 frame Cowan line for sale in Brad's backyard, St. Andrews.
Oh, get him to send me a link or some information. I was looking there today. I found a 40 frame line in Ontario that I phoned and inquired on, but if there's one in St. Andrews, I know a couple individuals that could, well, if they don't know the line, they probably would go look at it for me. So
let me see. Looks like you have wings, James. How fast can you fly there? Richard says.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've made it to Brad's. Well,
it's on Kijiji. What the heck?
Kijiji. Well, there was one on Kijiji, and I did phone looking for a price on it. And I think they were what? I think they were 67 or 68,000, if that's the same one. So in that case, you have to ask yourself, do you want, now it's a Cowan, so especially after this Cowan uncapper I rebuilt, Cowan is absolutely an awesome line. But for, what did we say, or what was that license line we were looking at, Bob? That was a brand spanking new line.
36,000 US, right? So 50.
I think it was less money than that. Canadian. Yeah, something like that.
50,000 Canadian.
You have to start asking yourself, yeah, like say, do you want to spend that, more money than that for a used line, or do you want to spend less money and get a brand spanking new line? So, there's lots of equipment, and lots of things out there that are for sale, if you're willing to pay any price. And, as you know, the numbers still have to make sense, right?
Right.
Not that I ever crunch the numbers.
That's all you do.
So, it's got to work.
You sent me the link, but I don't see a price on it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think there was one there that said call for pricing or something.
Looks like it's got a 60 frame extractor with deboxer, uncapper, and box conveyor with bottom bar scraper. So it's basically less than 10 minutes for 60 frames. Usually extract 320 supers per day. It's a 2002 model.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I phoned on. sounding awfully familiar.
Price less than half of a new comparable equipment. Guy's name is Rob.
So, yeah, I think I did see that one.
I never heard of Kijiji. It must be a Canadian thing.
I think it is. It's kind of a buy and sell, kind of like Marketplace, but it's its own app, if you would.
Gotcha.
So
Let me see. Oh, so Doug says he knows Rob and his wife. Out there.
Rob and his wife.
The guy that has the line, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Charlie got up. It's just me and you.
Well, there you go. Just pulled into the driveway. Now I got to, it was funny because Alan and I were running around here yesterday putting stuff in the bee barn and stuff, and literally in a t-shirt. And then today you can hardly stand up because the sidewalks are a glare sheet of ice, and it's minus 2 degrees Celsius here right now. And I think they said we're supposed to get 5 or 6 centimeters of snow tonight. So 2.5 centimeters to an inch. So, 2 or 3 inches of snow too. So winter has come to Alberta again. And then Thursday, I think they're forecasting plus 10. So it's just crazy weather.
Up and down. Sound like ours.
Welcome to Alberta. So, all right. Well, let me see how fast I can slap this battery in there, Bob, and I'll pop right back in.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
You betcha. Don't leave until I get back here.
All right.
See you guys.
All right. All right. So here comes Charlie back in the door with his popcorn, freshly popped popcorn, to crunch the mic for us. So James is crunching numbers and Charlie's crunching popcorn.
What James can do is, he could buy that cow and he get his get his ticket money back from that's a big savings, right?
Let's see. They're still talking about extractors?
No. Steve, I sent you a text from my address. I don't know what's going on. I looked at the...
Check your junk mail. I was giving Brad some grief. I'm like, I haven't received an email. And it turns out they resent it. And then I checked my spam folder and it was in there for some ungodly reason. And it was, direct to me. It wasn't like a business type of deal. It just was in that folder. So we got it taken care of now.
All right, Steve's got it. Good.
But today was just a kind of a slow day,
Well,
not much happening.
I made a couple deliveries, actually 3 deliveries. And we got our order for a couple marinas done today and blocking.
Nice.
So,
Charlie, can you turn up your volume?
now I turn my mic back on.
Oh, we can hear you though. Here comes Brad. Where's Brad? He's in his honey house. I'm in my honey house. Charlie's in the bee yard.
I see that. Charlie's outside.
Yeah.
Thought it'd be dark by now.
I know, right?
It is.
The sun never goes down in Baltimore.
Brian, I was thinking that same thing that you're talking about there. Brian said he's not very impressed by the deals at Nobby so far. Things are kind of going up.
It doesn't matter, Bob, but it wasn't Doug said that. I said I know Rob and his wife.
Oh, did I say Doug?
He said Doug.
Oh, sorry. I meant Brad.
Well, that's okay.
I was reading Doug's stuff before, though.
Yeah, that's like 20 miles from me. I know them very well.
So, Steve, someone sent me the link. It's the Henderson County Beekeepers Association in December. So, I don't know if it's how it's going to be to get tickets, but I imagine they won't have too many people where you couldn't just get up there and buy them when you walk in or something. You might pay a little bit extra, but but it is in Hendersonville, North Carolina.
What is it? What type of show?
Oh, that's the one that Ian's going to be at in December in Bob
Oh.
Binney. But to be 100% transparent, it was not Ian that sent me that information. It was somebody else. So they could be wrong. I'm just saying. It was somebody else that sent it to me. But I trust the person that sent it to me. So pretty sure that's the one it's going to be at. But Brad, you get your dinner all done and ate and good to go today?
Ate a nice meatloaf for myself.
I actually haven't eaten yet. It's done. I just haven't felt like it. I've got to get my cholesterol in check. They keep changing my meds.
Look
And
at drop in Spanky.
Hey, Spanky.
Well, I have plenty of challenges, but cholesterol isn't one of them. I'm thankful for that.
My blood pressure was a little bit elevated today.
My blood pressure is fine if you compare it to a car wash.
If you compare it to a car wash, cleaning out your arteries there.
Oh, I mean the pressure, the wand at the car wash.
Yeah.
That's high. So, not so bad.
So, yeah, it was one of those days, and they did the little ultrasound of my heart and everything. But supposedly, my heart wasn't having any hardening of the muscles or anything like that. It's just they can't seem to get my cholesterol lowered.
That is a problem. I know a lot of people struggle with that. That's a big problem.
Well, and I'm like Charlie there. I like snacks, right? So a lot of that stuff does have cholesterol in it, but
yeah, but I've seen studies where some people have did all these different cholesterol, either medications or procedures, and they have natural Hive. Their body just produces it. That's all there is to it.
It's genes. It's genetics. It's mostly genetics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still high, and it's not good. But it's supposed. I mean, look at me. You see me on my videos. People must look at me and think that guy's got cholesterol coming through the roof. No, that's fine. But it's genetics.
Yeah, so that's. But the thing is, they keep changing my medications, which makes it even. Oh, we're going to go with a stronger one. You're already on 2 cholesterol medicines, but we're going to replace one of those cholesterols, and now we're going to give you a stronger dose of another medicine. It's like, whatever. I told my wife earlier, she's like, well, you need to stop eating chips and popcorn and all these snacks. And I'm like, just let me have a heart attack. If I got to quit everything I eat, then what's the point? I mean, I understand eating a little healthier, but it's like I'm not going to go vegetarian or something just because the doc says my cholesterol is elevated.
They tell me that eating right will make me live longer, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure that it would at least seem that way.
Well, it's like when it's time, right? So when it's your time,
I get nothing for that. I may not live longer, but I'm sure it would seem that way.
What?
Loses something if you have to explain it.
Danae said, Bob, dud your license. Did mine didn't come damaged? No. I would call Better Be Right Up and tell them if you haven't already. Mine did not come damaged. But I don't. Yeah, I've been fortunate. My stuff has come really well packed. With the license stuff, I mean, strapped down to pallets with wooden sides on it, like a crate. I mean, it's not typically not in a cardboard box or something like that. So I haven't had any.
I had one of my mentee bought a 30 frame like you got there, and it was on a pallet and boxed up in a crate, all that stuff.
She said hers was creased like a pop can.
Send it back.
I'd be calling them and saying, hey, you need to go ahead and get a replacement out here. And don't let time pass where first of all, I would be taking photos as I was unpacking it. If I saw it was damaged, I would start documenting it right away. So Brian, see now Brian's got the same tank that you have. I don't have that same tank. We may get to see James at some point instead of his icon tonight.
No, you know what? My goal tonight is just to talk to you going back and forth to Canadian Tire. So you take them. Oh yeah, you give them make, model, and serial number. You think they'd be able to tell you which battery, and the young guy.
That's the magic of Canadian Tire.
Oh man.
It's the magic of Canadian Tire.
It doesn't look like the right size. Oh no, yeah, it's he digs at a tape measure. That's the one. Well, all I can tell you is if I lived as far away from Canadian Tire as Brad does, I'd be pissed right about now.
I still would be.
That's why I don't go to Canadian Tire.
Well,
I have a fantastic battery man in Winnipeg, and he takes care of me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, at 7:12 on a holiday Monday night, that's just not an option. But anyways, so it's 10 minutes back to Canadian Tire. So what are you up to, Brad?
Oh, building more covers these days.
No, any more than 6 a day?
No, actually about 20 a day usually.
I was just commenting on your last video or the last live stream. I think you got 6 done that one day.
Oh yeah, I was just setting up and I only got 6. But yeah, I got 40 now. It's slow going. Like nice. I just can't stand there that long. I try, I do a few and I go do something else, and then I go do a few and do something else. And so
I hear you.
I just can't stand there in one place. I end up so that I try and walk and I fall down because I can't walk anymore. My legs don't work. Yeah, but it's coming along. I pace myself, right and I got about eight more days of work there. My goal is end of the month, so I should make it if I keep at it.
Well, I was going to say, if you get them all done today, what the heck would you do tomorrow?
That's right. I think I'll find something. You did see the 2 lifts of plywood on my trailer, right?
I was just going to say we're beekeepers, man. If we're not, our list isn't a mile long or 4 or 5 pages long, we're doing something wrong.
Well, if I run out of stuff to do, there's 2 lifts of plywood on my trailer need to be cut up, so I can easily just do that.
Right on.
It's always
Sorry, Bob.
it's always more to do than you've got time to do.
Oh, ain't that the
Well,
truth?
that's the thing. I wake up every day and decide what's not going to get done. Right?
It's like I don't feel like doing
what.
this.
What can I ignore and my life doesn't fall apart? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, I'm slowly getting them knocked off my list, but my goal is to, especially right now that winter's decided to come back to Alberta here. My goal is to get enough room in the garage so Leah can park back in the garage there. But so it's amazing how they get a little cranky when they can't park in the garage.
Yeah, that's a noble cause right there.
I was going to say she's not in the truck with me, so I can say that because I'm not within striking distance.
Well, I see her on the live chat, so you might be screwed yet.
I could be. Yep, you're right. I could be.
So Ian says, "Hey James, did you pull the pin? $signs?"
Well, I'm trying, but he's making it awfully hard to spend money with him. Maybe I don't know. I sent him another message here tonight, but we are going to be pulling the pin on something for sure. So, like I said, this will be the last year I spin this amount of honey with a 12 frame extractor.
But it's effective.
You know what? It worked well. Like I said, that's you make do with what you have sometimes, right? But we got we got so much to do. So like I say, I still need probably between 300 and 400 boxes built before April. The frames to go with them, so that's got to be done. We got to build anywhere between 40 and 80 bee escapes. So, but on a positive note, we were in the bee shed yesterday, and the clusters are looking really good. So, they're basically wall to wall, front to back, just kind of a big cluster you can see in there. But of course, I also learned that you don't get your face too close to them with their red light because they're not quite asleep.
They're not quite cold enough yet.
Well, they're at 4 degrees, so I mean they're as cold as they're going to get, and as warm as they're going to get too now for until April basically. So that system I got in there works really well. So it's plus or minus 1 degree. So the coldest they'll get is 3 degrees. The warmest they'll get is 5, and it works quite well. So, but
Todd was saying he was going to show up tonight too.
I was trying to think of what else we were up to up here. Well, like I say, getting honey ready for Christmas baskets and the Christmas market. So, but those jars have showed up there again today. So I got another pallet of jars that showed up today. So,
and you're getting your jars from where? I know you
said Wells Can. They're out on the out by Vancouver.
And we were having a conversation that it was about 1 pound jars, right? And 1 pound jars are 454 grams or something like that, right? And in Canada, you have to be able to put 500 grams in a container to retail it. Or, I mean, what's that rule?
If you're retailing, yeah, there's certain increments that you have to use. And I think it's 375 and then 500, something like that.
And
So I can't sell retail. I can't sell a 450 gram container.
I wonder why they make it standard like that.
I don't know. I
for-
think maybe it has something to do with just consumer protection. Just so you can't kind of mess with them, because some containers look bigger than others, and people might not realize that it's not 500 grams and this kind of thing. I mean, this is a country where on a container of peanut butter, it says peanut butter, and on the back it says ingredients peanuts, and under that it says may contain peanuts. This is what
Exactly.
Canada is. So,
Yeah, craziness.
That's exactly
heaven
what it
forbid
is.
Heaven forbid somebody actually have to read the label and say, "Oh,
It's peanut butter."
Exactly.
Not only may
so-
it should
you're gonna-
contain peanuts.
If you're going to die if you eat peanuts, and the big container in your hand says peanut butter, no, I'm only guessing because I'm not in that situation. But if it was me,
Soon death is imminent.
I wouldn't be bothering to say, if this has
I
peanuts
wonder
in
if
it,
this
it could
contains
kill
nuts.
me. So I'm going to check the back label just to make sure that it actually,
Brad,
No.
this is a how you do it show, not how you should do it.
That's right. Well, no, this is Kanakistan is what this is.
Yeah. Now, at the markets and stuff, the farmers market and stuff, we're not necessarily bound by those rules.
No, that's true.
So,
This is retail only.
Well,
This is
correct.
CFIA rules.
right, commercial retail.
So in our grocery store, you can have whatever size, right? But you have to denote what it is, how much is in it. And then usually in the grocery store, it says this is X number of cents per ounce or
Yeah.
price per
Yeah,
ounce.
grocery
So it
store
breaks
says
it
that
down.
too. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, well, but we understand why that is. I mean, we've had all sorts of math lessons on these live chats about what 3/4 of an inch is. So when you got to break it down and do the math,
Well,
down
it's
to ounces,
7/8 Canadian. That's what it is.
I totally understand. I couldn't resist. Sorry, guys.
And you thought I'd forgotten.
So,
But yeah, we
that's
do
all right.
math here.
you can
It's
call
not always
me a
great.
jerk. I don't think I've been called a jerk today, so you can call me a jerk.
No, never. I would never.
Alrighty, well,
I would just call you up and call you a jerk. I wouldn't.
this might take me 10 minutes here, guys, because now I have to return it and get the proper size.
But now they won't have the proper.
Oh,
you know
joy.
Yeah, they won't have that battery.
Canadian Tire returns.
Yeah, all fun. See you in a bit.
All right. It's like, what seems to be wrong, sir? Well, I was just in here 15 minutes ago. Oh, well, that gentleman's gone for the evening. So
Yeah.
I can't
That department's
verify that. Did you bring your receipt in with you? Hell, you just saw me 10 minutes ago. Oh no, we can't do it that way. We gotta have.
Oh, that's
have
exactly
the
how the
receipt.
conversation will go.
He'll
You
come
don't have a
back.
receipt? Oh, sorry. No. It's a MotoMaster battery that's dated. Nobody else sells MotoMaster. Well, it's not. They're. I don't know what the heck they call them now. I don't buy Canadian Tire. I don't buy nothing Canadian Tire.
He'll come out
But
and he'll say,
anyway.
"Well, they didn't have that battery, so she's got to wait."
What's it like?
They probably try to give them a prorated warranty on it. We'll give you 75% of the value of the batteries. It was like it was 10 minutes.
99.75 because you've used 15 minutes of battery life off of it. Prorated warranty. That would be.
So you wonder, did James take the old battery out and take it with him this time?
I don't know. It seemed rather quick, but he could have.
I don't know. Maybe.
Never know.
That would be my kind of luck, though. It'd be like, nah. Wrong one.
That's everybody's luck at Canadian Tire. That's how it works.
That's the SOP.
Keep you coming back, right? Yeah, that's SOP. That's exactly what it is.
Todd, what have
Did
you
you
been
know the
doing?
Canadian Tire Did you know the Canadian Tire employees don't have faces? They
don't.
only. Well, I don't know if they do. You only ever see the back of their head anyway, while they're going the other way in the store. That's the only thing I've ever seen anyway.
That's
Your mileage may vary.
Todd, what you been up to?
Just work today. I'm contemplating my feeding schedule now. I think I spoke too soon. Bees are flying big time. There was a big time flight yesterday. Today was even warmer. It was like 75 degrees here today. You know, it's the middle of freaking November.
Yeah, but that's California, right?
Not this part, but that's LA weather. That's what it's like down in LA all the time. That's why they have Africanized bees down there. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be close. I'll put it that way. I'm pretty certain I'll probably have to end up feeding. And what I'll do is I'll just put a tote of food out there somewhere and let them fight for it. Because I'm not going to do buckets on all the hives. It's too late for that.
Well, where you're located, is that the Imperial Valley or something like that?
Imperial Valley's down east of San Diego, down at the bottom of the state. I'm right in the middle of the state. As a matter of fact, geographically, if you go up the main highway here, it's called Highway 99. It goes north-south. About 10 miles north, right in the median, they have a cedar tree, and then they have a, I think it's a spruce tree. Well, that signifies the trees for each part of the state, Northern California and Southern California.
Oh, I thought that was your 2 honey trees.
No.
That's not your basswood tree?
No.
Yeah.
Those are not my magic trees.
He's got 2 basswood trees.
Those are not my magic trees. No. Besides, they're out of range.
And then they had a big fire on that Route 10 thing down there, that big interstate.
Yeah, I heard about that. But no, I don't know. I'm hanging out and see what's going to happen there. Just too many bees in the air right now for this time of year.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mine's like this every year, every day.
Usually it turns cold by now. It hasn't. Well, cooler, not cold. I'll clarify that.
Well, mine gets cool, but they still fly every day. You actually get days to where they're in all the time, other than when it's raining.
Well, yeah, but that's not till later. That's like December, January. But this time of year, there'll be some cooler days where it might be 45 degrees and cloudy, where they're not going to come out. They won't be bundled up tight, but they'll be active inside the hive. They just won't fly out. But they won't cluster for a month from now, 4 or 5 weeks. So unless something changes, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. This whole summer I've been bragging about not having to feed. Now all of a sudden it's come back to bite me. We'll see. And I'm on the hunt for a hole saw bit. I need it looks like I need a 1 7/8, and I have a 1 3/4 and then a 2-inch. Then I think I have one that might fit, but I can't find it. So the guy that I help out with his bees, he's got a barn full of stuff that I can. I'm sure he's got what I need. So I texted him. He might be texting me back soon. And if he does, I got to go over and get it. But that's it for me. Bob, you left. Oh, he muted too.
Bob has left the building.
So what's new, Brad and Charlie?
Not a whole lot. Like I said earlier on, I vaporized my hives with oxalic acid Sunday morning while it was around 45 degrees. And by the time I got to the end of the row, it was around 47. They're starting to fly a little bit more, being a little bit more of a pest because I wasn't wearing any gear or nothing. And except for my respirator.
Yeah.
And but that all went well. I have found a couple. I forgot to drill some vaporizer holes in the rear of my bottom boards on 2 of the hives because I had replaced some new boards. They were rotten. And so I went back and took a cordless drill and drilled them for the next time. And the only thing I didn't get vaporized was that license hive. I had that winter gate in there and it was stuck. And of course, when I got it to move, then here comes the bees boiling out. see what's going on. And I don't know what it is. I mean, you would think that's a relatively brand new hive. It's only 3 years old, let's say. And you would think those people would design a hive that would have some type of a protection port so you can stick your hot nozzle in there and blow that fumes in there and all. But I didn't get it vaporized. I was getting late and they were getting more active. So I got it moved over. So I've been thinking about maybe making a wooden strip with a hole in and so I can block the entrance up and blow it in there.
Yeah.
Well, see what happens.
And Brad, you're just in the wood shop, huh? Not much
Mostly,
else?
yeah. I'm working in there as much as I can and build as many covers as I can, and then go do something else to loosen up, and then go stand there again. So my goal is 20 a day, and I did 20 today. So
There you go.
I'm 20% of the way to my goal. Got 40 out of 200 done.
Wow. Well, you'll
Doesn't
get
sound
there.
like much, but
And that's migratory covers, Brad?
Yeah.
So you need 200 because of what? Because of the nukes that you have that you're going to put in
sell.
10 frame?
I got an order.
He's got an order still.
I got a customer order for 200. So I hope to get them done by the end of the month. Done and delivered. Because I want to get paid.
That's always good.
That's always good. Need some Christmas money.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That time of year.
Well, for some of us.
Eating my dinner.
That's okay. Everybody else is.
I finished mine. I'm all done.
Ian, I can send you all the beetles you want.
Oh, that's a bad word. That's a bad word.
Don't bring those things.
I don't want to see that.
I'll even put them in a vial with alcohol that are dead just so you can see what they look like. Put them all the way up to the top. Hive beetles are the bane of my existence. Because I think they figure out traps as well. Because it doesn't matter how many traps I've got in there. It doesn't matter. I could have Swiffers, oil traps, oil bottom board, everything. They'll still be on top of the frame, kind of walking.
You should. What was that one video that was it the bug guy?
The bug farmer.
The bug farmer. He had a couple hundred in the corner of his
vacuuming them up. Yep.
Oh, cow.
You had a bushel of beetles in that one hive.
Yeah, that was a mess. Could you imagine if he didn't open that hive and just left it there for another month?
It'd be gone in a week, probably. Eh?
It would be slimed out. That's so gross.
Well, it's funny because like that video, you'll see one or a handful of bees, and there'll be a ton of beetles behind them. They're like just spread out, just like holding them in the corner somehow.
Yeah.
It's
The bees are hurting the beetles.
but you know, I don't see that many people doing studies on hive beetles because it doesn't affect everyone, right? It only affects a portion of us. So it's not that high on the priority list at the moment. If they get the mite thing in check, then maybe hive beetles are next on the list. No, because then you'll have the tropolalaps or whatever, and it'll be a whole nother critter to ruin the game for us.
Luckily, knock on wood, I don't have that problem yet. I don't want it either. But you know what? I don't think my soil's right. My soil's hard pan. It's like concrete in summer, so they really can't get in there.
Well, the fact that the little buggers can fly 9 miles doesn't help anything.
No, that's
what we read on Google anyway. 15 kilometers, right?
Yep.
that's crazy.
So it's like, seems like the more you break the cycle, the more they just fly in. We'll show you guys. I'll show you, fat bee man, that you're out here trying to kill us.
Maybe there's less competition.
I just need to put a big electric fence, like a net, over everything. So when they just fly in, zap.
Yeah. An electric 1/8-inch hardware cloth.
See here, Steve Amos says his soil is super hard, and this year they went crazy.
Well,
Mine is sandy, and they went crazy.
but I think that the common denominator too is tropical weather. You've got a lot of humidity. It's dry as a bone out here.
Well,
15%.
myths about hive beetles. Oh, if you put them in direct sun, bullshit. I'll bullshit on that. If you put them on, take them off from underneath the trees, bullshit. Doesn't matter. In the trees, out of the trees, in the sun, in the rain, it don't matter.
Yeah.
They're coming. They're myths. The only people that say put them in direct sun don't have that bad a hive beetle problem to begin with. You know, it's funny. You see, not picking on any beekeepers, but you see them put out a video about how they treat for small hive beetles. You might see 3 or 4 in the hive, right? Steve, you're 45 minutes from me? Where are you located?
You gotta love it when your boss is texting you at 6:30 at night about being at the office at 7 in the morning.
You know what I do with those? When this clock hits 5 o'clock, it doesn't get answered anymore. I get paid from 8 to 5. After that, done.
No, but I'm in the management group, so I have to do what I have to do. With a smile on my face. I'll wear a bow tomorrow.
That's why I'm a failure to launch kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
Failure to launch.
Crap. Oh, man. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
The good old days.
I am on the clock 24/7. So, you know, I'm not on the clock.
Me in IT.
I'm available to work 24/7 because of the.
Oh yeah.
You know.
That's exactly how it was for me. It was, I don't get paid anymore, but if somebody phones and has a trouble, I got to stay up all night fixing the problem.
Yeah.
Do I get paid more? No. It's part of the job.
You're in Gaston County?
Where's that at?
There's Gaston, South Carolina, right up the road from me. Is that where you're at, Gaston? Formic is supposed to kill everything, including my queens. I mean, that's what Bob did.
They can.
Oh, Gastonia, North Carolina. Yeah, you're a little bit further up north than I am. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
I wish I got paid the big bucks, Russell.
There's
All right.
Brian.
Brian.
Well, that's probably a good thing, Brian. That he can't hear us.
Why? So we don't have to stop making fun of him?
He's one of my favorite guys.
Where'd he go?
Yeah.
He couldn't hear us.
Yeah, I like Brian. That's just a joke, right? That somebody can't hear you.
So I didn't let it all the way out of the bag.
But now you are?
But you guys know already that I had I took one step forward and 5 steps back like I always do, right? So got all my supers inside the building back there, and I'm like, oh, this would be great storage. It's all closed in, got doors, no problems. Until I go out to clean it up and find how much wax moth damage is in the comb. So, hey, I guess there's a positive way to look at it. I'm going to have all brand new comb when they finally get it drawn
right.
out.
That's the spirit, Bob.
Of course, it's going to take, so in my mind, I finally thought, you know what? I've gotten this together. I've got more honey production colonies. I've got some comb in the supers now. It should be a good year next year. And then go to clean out.
And the wax moth gone down and eat it all on you.
Yeah, so now it's like, shoot. Now they're going to be burning up my honey to make more comb. So, whatever. It's just a story of my life. I'm used to it. That's how I know I'm alive. I just keep getting kicked in the nuts. And then you get kicked in the nuts. You definitely know if you're alive or dead.
Yeah.
See, even Brian got a smirk about that one.
Bob, I sent you dinner tonight. Come on.
I saw the picture of that dinner, and then I had to go get up and eat dinner after looking at it. Everybody, this is turning into like a foodie channel. Todd's always cooking off in the background. Charlie's in charge of the snacks.
I'm rubbing off on you guys. You better limit me.
No, Steve, I'm actually on the southeast side of Columbia, southeast or south of Fort Jackson there in Columbia.
See you, Shane.
So, Brian, what have you been doing?
I'm working on my espresso creamed honey. I'm jarring my honey right now, actually. Do you guys want to see what I'm doing?
Sure.
So this is my espresso hunt. Yeah, there we go.
That's the bottling room.
Yeah, my kitchen. So it's creamed honey. It's not fully set. You can see how it flows pretty quickly, right? But the great part about this time of the year is all this will go in my garage overnight, and it's a perfect temperature overnight for it to set. It'll set really nicely. This stuff will be ready by this weekend. We have a big holiday push coming up. We have 3 weekends that are a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday event, and the first round is this weekend. So that's what I'm getting ready for.
This is also a public service announcement to not dunk your baby into the bucket of honey.
That's right. In fact,
I see that.
A funny story. I remember, Bob, when I was so proud of myself when I got to the point when I could drown the baby on the bucket, when I had that much honey, when I had drowned the baby honey, I was really proud. That was a landmark for me.
I really have to say this. I thought it was a dog humping a bucket.
Yes,
That's what it looks
because
like.
they need to put warning signs on about that, Todd,
Well,
because that's been a problem.
Well, Brad, you were talking about, the labeling things in Canada there. So, in what country do you have to put not to place your baby in the bucket? I mean,
America.
In America, that's it.
The dog one that Todd was talking about, that's just Alabama. So
that's
it's.
What it looked like. I don't have my screen widened out, so that's what it looked like.
So
now, Brian, the espresso, is that a powder or is that a bean or what?
Bean.
No, so this is different than taking like creamed honey and adding like powdered cinnamon. You're right. It's that simple for that kind of stuff. Powdered cocoa, powdered cinnamon. It's just mixing in that powder and
powdered
Snickers, creamed honey. However, this was an infusion. I started by infusing ground beans in a liquid honey over time. It sat in my my honey warmer for a little bit. It sat on my tank up here and crystallized. It was one of those set and forgets, right? I started it like 2 months ago and then I forgot about it. And then I re-liquefied it. And then you saw me straining out all those espresso beans. And there's all these powdery pieces that are still in there, just like the cinnamon powder or the cacao powder or anything like that. But I'm trying to get as much of the big material out as possible. And then hopefully, as I set it quickly in a cooler temperature in my garage, that powdered material won't have an opportunity to rise to the top and set, which sometimes it has a tendency to do. If you can get it to set quicker, it'll stay isolated in its place, which is what I want. Does that make sense?
Yes. So Peter Morris asks, Brian, is there a market for creamed honey in Colorado? Brian created said market. It wasn't until he educated and enlightened the masses.
There's other people doing creamed honey, but we certainly have worked the market. We've educated our customers. We do markets. Peter lives in Parker, which I know where it is, and we've talked in the chat a little bit. I do the Highlands Market, Peter, in Denver, as well as other events. And a lot of people don't know what creamed honey is, but once you offer them tastes of creamed honey at a market-like scenario, creamed honey sells very well. And it is a pretty, like Charlie said, it can be a pretty laborious process, but it's that value-added experience that I'm giving the customer through these products.
So Brian,
yeah, yes, sir.
I was working on a proof of concept.
Okay.
And part of it is based off of discussions in the chat.
Yes, sir.
And I haven't seen Blaine, so he's going to miss out on it. But I have to show the proof of concept for the Carolina Reaper honey.
Okay.
Walkers, flaming starship.
That's your plan
that's
A?
hilarious.
That's plan A?
If you notice that the starfish is upside down and it's got a little sphincter right in the middle there.
Well, luckily I didn't.
So that's one thing. I went looking for labels today, and the size of this label that's on your jar that you sent me,
it's like 2x4.
like a 2x4, and the only ones I could find were shipping labels, right? So is this like that True Block shipping label? Or
I sent you the picture of the package that I had, and it has the number for the Avery product, but I'm not sure if that package was from our old ones when we were making them ourselves and they weren't glossy. So what I do now is I take my design that I made on Avery and then I just plug it into their machine and I order stickers through them. So I order the glossy version of that stickered size when I'm putting my orders in. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm understanding. I also tried the Reaper honey. I was just like doing the dab inside of the lid, but you don't get the full effect until you do the tip into the actual jar. Much different effect of the honey. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Little funny label there. What's a flaming starfish? Well, buy this and you'll know by tomorrow. You know.
So I guess one of my questions I'd love to see in the chat is who's going to Nabby and is doing the honey swap. I'd love to see who else is doing that. I know Charlie's always excited to get honeys from all different places.
I think Brian said from Castle Hive said he was taking a bunch over there.
Cool.
I may bring some. I'm not sure yet.
And then I guess some people are doing like 2 ounce and some people are doing 8 ounce. So
Well,
what I've been doing, yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
What I did was I brought pound bottles,
Yeah.
but I was bringing them to give to my friends here on the chat.
Yeah.
And like, I know Brian, or you sent me product and I got 2 nice 3-pound bottles for you.
Awesome.
You know,
and I'll do the same. I'll keep one for myself and I'll bring one to my club to do for whatever honey tasting we do, because I know we'll do that at some point.
You know, well, I mean, I think you were saying you used it making some kind of food product or whatever it was, and
yours still hasn't crystallized. So every once in a while, like I'll put yours in my soap because I need just like a little teaspoon, and it's in the squeeze bottle. So I'll just grab yours right off the shelf and use that.
So you mean it hasn't crystallized at all?
Yeah.
I gave my friend a jar of honey my very first season, and he swears it's still as clear as the day that I gave it to him. It's like it was one of the first bottles that I bottled, right? Because I was so proud of it and gave it to him. He's like, yeah, that thing's still perfect. And I was like, 5 years ago. And then I got some from this year that it's like, if it sits in the jar for a week, it's like starting to crystallize in the bottom. So
it depends on that. I understand that depends on how much sugar content there is.
So Kim says she plans to bring some.
But no, I was figuring, 2 3-pounders for you, Brian, because you said you like to cook with it and it had a floral. See, when I taste honey, I've tasted orange honey, which I can taste the citrus in that right away. And I've tasted like, I don't know, some of those Midwestern, they're kind of pungent type honeys, and like buckwheat has got a real pungent flavor. But some people must have better taste buds as far as real minute differences and stuff. I don't quite get that.
81.
So one of the things I've been doing throughout the season is as I make little batches like this, most of what I do is in our 12-ounce jars. But when I get down to the bottom and I know I won't, I'll usually do like 2 cases of the 12-ounce jars. And then usually whatever's left, I'll put in 8-ounce jars. So I'm bringing a variety of my creamed honeys. I think even some hot honeys I still have left too. So that's what I'm going to bring to Nabby and kind of trade out with other people. And like Charlie, give to friends, even if they're not participating in the
How did your hot honey do in the markets?
Awesome. Again, people taste it and they love it. Now, my first batch was way different than my second batch. And honestly, I like my first batch a little better. My second batch, it was super hot. So I had to dilute it down. And I'm not sure I have it diluted down to that place. I like it when it's sweet up front and then you feel the heat on the back. But this one, you just get the heat immediately. And you don't get that contrast so much. So
that's how mine is. I'm talking about the one that's similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
Not the Reaper. Reaper's just vile all the way around. But the with that one, you taste the pepper and the little bit of heat up front, and then it goes away and gives way to the sweetness behind it. So when people taste it, they're like, "Oh, that's the key." If you can get them to taste it, it's done.
And then start talking about how they can use it. How would you use that? How do you use that in your kitchen?
Down
what
here,
kind of things would you do with it?
You guys like fried chicken? Oh yeah, you should try this on some fried chicken. It's awesome. And then they start seeing, oh yeah, that is good. I said, there's a reason why Popeyes gives out honey and hot sauce every time you go, right?
Tomorrow night is the last meeting of our club for the year, and we have like a big potluck, and we try to do like bee-themed foods. And I'm going to do a cornbread, but I'm going to include my hot honey in it instead of just whatever regular. So it's going to be my hot honey cornbread. So like that's the kind of stuff. Those are the kind of conversations I like to have with people at the market to really get them thinking. And like some people, you can really tell they're foodies. So you'll just like dial in on that conversation. And some people will just be like, I don't know. So I usually give them like 2 or 3 recommendations of how you would use it.
I always tell people hot honey on pizza. I've never had it personally myself on pizza, but other people have said it's amazing on pizza. So
pizza, chicken wings. I put it in my coffee a lot.
Hot honey in your coffee.
Try it, Bob. Are you a coffee drinker in the morning?
Not typically, but I would try it. A buddy of mine says when he buys it, that's what he puts it in.
A person that's a foodie, what is that? A person that's like connoisseur type foods or something?
They're like, well, that's how I like to taste and try different foods, right?
Like they'll watch all the food channels on like Home and Garden or whatever it is. They'll cook for the week. Like Todd's a foodie. He's a serious guy about his food, you know, not someone who's going to pull out a frozen dinner and microwave it.
No, I just cook. That's all.
But you know a little bit about cooking.
A little bit, just enough to be dangerous. That's about it.
Could you talk wine pairings?
Oh, no, but I could do beer pairings.
Okay. Okay. That's my tester question. That's my acid test right there.
You know, you could use that. You could use the hot honey to make a really nice, like a hot teriyaki sauce.
Yeah. Yep. Hot wings. That's a good one to offer up. Hot wings are really popular around here, so that's one thing I would definitely do. I'll put it on I make like a Monte Cristo, like a grilled cheese with turkey, and instead I used to put maple syrup on it, but now I put my hot honey on it. That's really good. Little stuff like that. Even putting it in your sandwich. Put little hot honey in your turkey sandwich for lunch. That kind of stuff. Really just it wakes you up. It's really nice.
I'm gonna have to delve into my honey recipes more, I guess. I think, and you may totally, you did kind of say the same thing I said, but with my pepper honey, my hot honey, it's a set and forget, right? I put it in there, and this batch was in there for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Before I did anything with it. And then I warmed it up just enough to make it flow good. And then jarred it
out. Yeah. Did you put it in a bag or did you just put all the matter right in the honey? So
I did have it in a bag. But do you notice how they see, and this goes back to the cottage food law stuff, right? So I use that. It becomes candied. I mean, it's definitely. I've never had a problem with my peppers, like making it rancid or anything like that. Obviously, this is an old bottle because it's.
But that's last year's batch.
This is last year's batch, yeah.
Okay, so that's a good test if it's still good that far from now.
And it is just it candies them, right? Because the moisture comes out, and the honey is, I would assume, being replaced in that moisture, so it becomes more of a decoration. I mean, in the jar, but so when I put the peppers in the bag this time, it was my thought that I was going to pull the bag and let it strain out. In the past, I've strained it out, filled it up, and then went back and just added a scoop of peppers to each one to make it look a little bit nicer, you know. But it's about letting it take everything it can out of that pepper. So you'll notice even with your, it has a fresh pepper taste, right? It doesn't have that. Like there's a very big difference between the dried Carolina Reapers I used and the fresh peppers I used. Totally different tasting. I mean, obviously one's much hotter, but you actually, to me, you get a fresh pepper taste to the honey.
Like the fruitiness of the pepper, not just the heat.
Yeah, it's definitely to me, nicer. I mean, not to down anybody else's product or anything like that, but that's what I prefer. So that's what I sell, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is.
And different people make hot honey different ways. I know Jason Crook showed us his way one night, and it was mostly putting in like powdered ingredients, right?
And that's what my Reaper pepper is. My Reaper is directly off of what his was, right? So I had the dried peppers in there.
Yep.
And then I added a bunch of Reaper powder to it. So,
and the benefit of that is it's ready to go. You make it and you can literally sell that jar right there. So, you know, the process I use is definitely a much slower, time-consuming process. So they're trade-offs, you know, they're benefits and trade-offs. I know a guy here, I think I mentioned this. Hold on. I know a guy who mentioned that I mentioned this in the comments the other night, who just he works with a local hot sauce company, just buys hot sauce and then just mixes that in with his honey. And it just, for me, that's super cheesy. It's not very
there's no work to it.
Yeah, it's not very quality. It tastes vinegary. Like that's the first thing I got when I tasted it, was just strong vinegar. So well, there's different ways you can do it for sure.
Well, for me, at least in my mind, right, when you're using dried products, then it's always a matter of how much dry product to how much honey, right? And for a consistency thing, letting it set seems to spread that flavor more consistently in the batch.
Okay.
And hold on. I'm trying to catch up here. Carl said, "What a joke that is." What's he referring to?
I don't know.
So, I mean, Carl uses dried peppers, but he does a different process, right? So he heats his up, where I just add it and let it sit, and then heat it just to thin it out enough to bottle. So,
I think Carl made mention here the last thing where he had went to somebody else's table, and I think their hot peppers or whatever it was what Brian was talking about. It had that vinegary taste or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's seen the label and what they put in there and all that. Now the festivals you're doing, Brian, they're not like farmer market type things. It seems to be a different style of festival, isn't it? you
The
sell
weekly market I do is farmers market, the Sunday one. But the other ones are more festival-y, like the Lavender Festival, Cider Days, a lot of like
Does it
local
seem like
town
they have
harvest festivals.
seem like they have a lot of those on a weekly basis? Or is it
Um,
monthly?
again, I benefit from being in a metro area that has a lot of people and a lot of little towns around Denver. So there's a lot of opportunities. I could hire someone out and send them to markets 2 other days a week if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. I don't have the product to do that, but I definitely have the market to do that if I wanted to.
So, like what we were talking about with Alex the other night, the thing is, technically, my cottage food laws in South Carolina don't allow me to do this. It's
Mine either.
Same here.
however, not once have I had a bee police or somebody show up to my place questioning about it, because primarily I sell my stuff on Sundays and Saturdays when they're not even working. So there's not a
Around here, they got the farmers market, and they'll have the damn health department will walk around, undercover. And one of the in the past, it's like, oh, do you have any? Can we taste something? Which, if you don't have the permits to do all that, they'll shut you right down.
So they bait you into breaking the law? They entrap you? Yeah.
Something like that.
So fresh peppers definitely will increase the moisture content. So the key to that is, at least it's been for me, and I believe, Brian, I don't know if you followed the same way that I did it or not. They taste very similar, so I'm assuming you did. As far as once the moisture content is up from the peppers, you can either dehydrate that, or you can divide up that moisture by adding more raw honey to it. So that's what I typically
do. The key is
do.
to manage that moisture, whatever strategy you use. And you just offered up 2 different strategies, but you're right. The key is to pay attention to and manage that moisture, either dilute it and dehydrating. Those seem like the 2 basic ways to do it for sure.
Yeah. So this year I made a smaller batch of hot honey, and that what's the white 200 micron or 400 micron strainers that go on a 5-gallon pail. I basically left that on top so nothing got into it, but I would constantly stir it up to redistribute, those right there, and spread that surface area as much as I could. I wouldn't do it all the time, but every a couple times a week, go in there and do it. But yeah, this is the Reaper here that I've been messing with.
And I want to say something about the cottage food laws and everything like that. We had a great conversation last night on gun line, and it led to me kind of staying up a little bit and scouring the web, and I found that awesome website that has all of the cottage food laws for all 50 states in the United States. So, I pushed that out to a couple of folks, and some folks have already started pushing that out. This is my recommendation to anyone who's considering honey. Know the laws in your area that you're selling honey in. Whether you choose to follow them or not is totally up to you, but you should know them so that when you come across instances where you might be bending the law or pushing it, you can be prepared. Some of these laws make a lot of sense. Some of them feel pretty arbitrary. So if you decide you're going to break the law, just know the laws, and know the situation, right? Charlie's in a situation where he probably couldn't put a hot honey on the table because he knows what it's like there in Maryland. So know your situation and make wise choices as you navigate the legal system. And I just wanted to follow up that with Brad. What recommendations do you have for Canadian beekeepers that are wanting to start selling honey?
Well, exactly that, and know the laws in your area, because every province has their own rules as far as farm gate sales. We call it farm gate sales here, and not cottage food laws. So you need to know what your provincial regulations are. And again, if you don't want to follow the rules, it's nothing to do with me. If you want to sell honey retail, then you fall under CFIA regulations, federal regulations, and
Or
there are.
wholesale too, right? Retail and wholesale fall under that, do they not?
Well, I don't know how you're differentiating those. I sell wholesale to stores, and they retail it, so that's kind of what I mean.
I gotcha.
Well,
retail for me would be like if I sold it in a store, right? But like,
yeah,
for example, Alex the other night was talking about he had somebody that wanted to buy his honey wholesale. Well, then he would fall under that regulation as well, right?
right, and that's when it comes to stores. I just call it retail. I'm wholesaling to the store. The difference is not anything to do with that. The difference in my jurisdiction is, am I handing the honey to the customer or somebody else? And so the regulation talks about the relationship that the customer has with the producer. They can talk to me. They can kind of get a handle on what kind of person I am. They can come to my farm, or at least, they don't have the right to come to my farm, but I invite them to come to my farm. I invite them to see the apiary. Sometimes people come, I invite them in the honey house if they're here at the right time. So people can get an idea who they're dealing with and what the likelihood of the food safety is. Whereas if I'm not handing the product to the customer, then somebody needs to stand in the middle and assure the customer that the product is safe. And that's the CFIA. They stand in the middle and they say, this producer has met certain conditions, and we see to that, and we're quite assured that the product is safe, so you're okay to buy it off the store shelf. Because people go into the store, they don't know who I am. They don't have any opportunity to really have a trust relationship with me. So that's where the feds come in that situation. And that's why I do see honey on the shelf here. I know very well isn't packed to CFIA standards. I'll go into a store and I'll have my honey on the shelf. There's honey right next to it that's, Jane's honey from down the street. Got a little round label on it, and that's all it says. There's no phone number, there's no address, there's no contact information. It's just some name. And that's not by the rules.
Yeah,
So I know
now
a lot of people do
like
it. But
here in
the
Maryland,
rules.
we have to have you have to have your address on the label, even though
Us
you're
too.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
pretty
selling
standard.
out your own back door, you got to have your contact information on that label.
Right.
I
think that's pretty universal. That they need to be able to trace that back to the producer. But when it goes into a store, there needs to be certain things. Not only that, but it needs to, in Canada, it needs to be bilingual. It needs to have English and French. So it's really hard to create a label sometimes because there's twice as much language on the label. It's a real pain. They dictate what size of fonts you have to use, or minimum size fonts you have to use for required content, like the size. So 500 grams has to be a certain pixel height, which is actually really, really small. So you can pretty well guarantee you're going to meet that regulation. Nutrition facts. We have to have the nutrition facts table on it for a CFIA compliant label. The packer license number has to be on there, of course. And then, most most of my stores don't scan products. Some of them do, and so then I buy a UPC code to put on my product, and that's the store that then can use that to scan the product at the register.
So, I mean, it seems pretty similar. A lot of the laws, right? I mean, they're pretty similar. I hate to say this, but I don't necessarily call up the ag board and to get permission, right? I don't.
Well, and most of this stuff is available online too. All these regulations are available online. I just have to do a quick search, and I can find it. So I think most jurisdictions are probably similar. They have no reason to hide this stuff.
For me, the process of selling honey under the Cottage Food Act was not very hard. I had to take a food safety course. It was about a 2-hour online course that I sat on my couch and took. I had to create a label that had certain requirements, not as strict as what you described, Brad, but pretty similar. And there are certain products that I can make and certain ones that I can't make. It was that simple. It was not that hard to be able to get to the place where I could sell honey legally under the Cottage Food Act. Brad, you talked about, what'd you say? It was the Hand to Gate program. What was it called in Canada?
Farm gate. They call it farm gate.
So that's just like Cottage Food Act, where you can produce in a home kitchen certain items.
It sounds like it.
Okay, so
yeah,
is that true in every province?
I don't know. I would assume most provinces are similar, but it's a provincial jurisdiction, so you can't say that it is. And I know that in my jurisdiction, they extend the farm gate regulations to farmers markets. So even though the regulation was made so that I can sell, products, honey in this case, out of the driveway here on the farm, they've allowed to extend that regulation. If I'm at a farmer's market, I can do the same thing as long as it's myself dealing with the customer, right? And since the product I'm taking to farmer's market and the product I'm selling out of the farm gate is all CFIA packed and labeled and everything, all the bases are covered. I don't have any problems there.
So are you saying that probably in Canada, if you were a small beekeeper growing your business that had, say, like 30 colonies and you wanted to start selling your honey, the process is doable?
Oh, it's not hard at all.
And there's that farm gate law that those beekeepers should look into to try to see how they can sell their honey legally.
Farm gate regulations, if you're dealing with honey, the farm gate regulations are dead simple. Put your name and your phone number and perhaps your address on your label. That's what you need to do.
Cool.
Right.
And you can package your honey. Now you're saying when you put it in a store, you can't package the honey. Is that the way
Correct.
it works?
Well, I could if I was a registered packer. I'm not, so I hire one.
Is it that difficult to become a packer license?
It's a real pain in the backside. Yeah,
it's probably money too.
It's a lot of regulations.
Writing out a check.
There's money involved. Yeah, for sure.
Probably like a regular honey house or packing room or something like that.
Yeah, you have to have proper facility. And they come and inspect it and give you the gears all the time.
Cool.
All of that.
Hey,
and there are limitations. Sorry, Todd.
Oh, you guys have to excuse me. I've got to go over to my buddy's house, get that bit. We're going to drill some buckets. So I've got to get
Have a good night, Todd.
All right. See you guys later. Have a good evening.
All right.
Happy drilling.
Yeah.
Happy
Right.
drilling. It's always fun. Well, I mean,
So, Brian, I think your advice was absolutely perfect. Just make sure you know the regulations that apply to you. What you do with that's your own business, right? I mean, the only time that I really kind of notice it is when I'm going through all the extra expense and bother, and I'm sitting on a store shelf next to a jar that has that is obviously packed in somebody's kitchen, and all that. I feel like I'm wasting my time and money, but I don't like looking over my shoulder, so I do the extra.
Sure. Yeah, so I just hope
But
to empower people out there that might be a little hesitant to take that leap. Any hypothetical beekeepers out there that are wanting to be small business people
that might just have a very successful basswood tree.
It can feel really daunting, but you can do it.
No
doubt at all.
But just that shouldn't slow you down at all. Like, just do it. Just go and do it. Get the regulations, read the regulations, but just do it. It doesn't have to be a mire of red tape, because what's the worst is going to happen? Somebody's going to come up to you, slap your wrist, and say, "You can't do that, and this is why, and this is what you have to do." Well, so now you know, right? And so you either
they give you 30 days to comply.
Well, sure. It's not like you're going to do 20 years hard time or something.
And if a food inspector comes by and forces me to pull my hot honey off my shelf, I'll have no problem giving that away for Christmas presents or selling it in a different format where no one's looking over me, because I'm pretty confident of the safety of my product. And if I get busted like that, maybe it's an opportunity where I'll learn something about food safety, because this is my first time ever in the food industry. So I'm not proclaiming to know everything. I can even consider that a learning experience.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, really.
See, now look what you made me do.
You turned your back on an open gate.
It was running low. It was going slow because it's at the bottom, and I started talking.
And you get doing this with an open gate.
I learned. Look, I've got my cutting board below it. I don't know if you can see it. Where am I?
Oh yeah,
I got my cutting board at least to catch it all. So
I usually have a separate 5-gallon pail right there, so the drips just go down in the bucket instead of on the floor. You got me all lectury. You got me all. You got me on my soapbox, and I forgot my job.
I do that in honey house, man. I'll turn my back on an open gate, and the damn thing is overflowing before you know it.
Time is this? 10:30 already? Almost.
Just eat the overage.
That's what I'm doing. Yep. But I won't sleep tonight because it's all espresso honey.
Yeah.
You all wound up.
Well, I'm gonna pack it in though, because I want to get up tomorrow and do some work.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream here too. So I appreciate everybody coming and joining and having a good chat, and everybody in the chat and watching the stream. Appreciate you guys. And I think we got a live stream tomorrow. It's Tuesday night. So last time I checked, we do Tuesday nights. Anyway, guys, y'all have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Night all.
Good night, everybody.